Hi, and welcome back to Math Enhancement. So as a continuation of the worded problems this time, we are going to learn the second type of word problem that we have here is the age problem. So, it's very important for age problems that you are able to identify kung ano ba yung tense or ano yung time setting kung saan we are solving or the condition is being given. Okay? So, our modifiers of time or our keywords that connote a past, a present, or a future age are the following. So, the use of past verbs in the past tense like was, were, ago, modifier ago, last, yesteryear, and all other verbs that we can that that are in the past tense will be considered a condition as referring to the past age of the subject. Is, are, am, now, being, and all verbs in the present tense will represent present age. Will, shall, be, further, hence. Verbs in the future tense will all represent age in future time. So it's very important that we know our tenses so that we know the time setting. Okay? In solving for age problem, we still have other modifiers of time like 10 years, which means a decade, 20 years, which means score, 25 years, silver, 50 years, golden, 75 years, diamond, and 100 years, century or centennial. So these words may be encountered on age problems, and you should be able to understand what their equivalent values in terms of years are. Okay? So we have notes here to remember that the numbers of years that have passed by is simply equivalent to the present age of the subject minus his past age. Okay? Ibig sabihin yun yung panahon na dumaan na. And the number of years that is still or that is yet to come or dadating pa lang, that means your future age minus the present age of the subject. Okay? As a tip, it's good to make use of a table when representing the ages of the subject. Make use of the present age as the reference. So most of the time, if you have several persons in the problem, let's say for example you have Anna, Maria, and Josie, I normally use the first letters of their names to represent or as variables to represent the ages of these persons. Instead of using X, Y, and Z, I automatically use the first letters of their names so that when I'm able to solve for the final answers, I already know which age is which. Okay? Hindi ko na kailangan, I do not need to go back to my representation just to check kanino si X, kanino si Y, and whose age is Z. Okay? So, the present age will be represented by the variables A, M, and J. Okay? For the past age, for example, sinabi sa problem, in 5 years ago, halimbawa, diba? For example, it was mentioned that the past time setting is 5 years back or 5 years ago. Okay? To represent Anna's age 5 years ago, that's simply A minus 5, diba? Maria would be M minus 5, and Josie would be J minus 5. If we're solving for something in the future, like for example, 2 years from now, what would be the representation of Anna, Maria, and Josie's age 2 years from now? That would be A plus 2, M plus 2, and Josie plus 2, which means we always use the present time as a reference. Okay? So it's easier that you have this table because most of the time, students tend to forget etong mga -5, -5, +2, +2, +2 na yan when they are already translating. Okay? So, with that said, let's have our illustration. So, let me write here. Question number 1. Mary's father is 4 times as old as Mary. So, that means I have M and F, diba? This is Mary, this one is father. We're referring to their ages. Okay? And that means, by our representation, these are all present ages. Okay? So, according to this statement, Mary's father, so that's F. Okay, father is. So that's equals. Is represents present time. So I used F. 4 times as old as Mary. So that's 4 times daw ng present age of Mary 5 years ago. So, di ba sinabi ko na nga gumawa tayong table? Okay. So, let's create a table. Which means, pwedeng wag nyo na tong isulat and then just proceed with the table. So, you have persons like Mary and father. Okay, and then you have the time setting of the problem is 5 years ago. So, we only have past and then present. We do not have future in the problem. So, at present, we represent them M and F. In past, we're referring to 5 years ago. So, you have here M minus 5 and F minus 5. Okay. The first statement is at present time. Okay, at present, Mary's father is 4 times as old as Mary. So, we're going to use these representations. Mary's father, that's F, is equivalent to 4 times as old as Mary. Okay, that's in present. That's at present time. 5 years ago, which means we're going to shift here. Ito na yung representation that we will be using. He was, ibig sabihin, we were referring to father. Father, that's F minus 5. This is his age 5 years ago. Was, so that's a representation of an equal sign. 7 times as old. That means 7 times as old as Mary was that time. Okay? 5 years ago, si father daw, 7 beses yung edad niya ng kay Mary nung panahon din yun. Siyempre, hindi naman pwedeng tatay lang ang bumabalik sa time, di ba? Okay? Same time setting. Mary minus 5. Okay. How old are they now? Okay. So, obviously, the reason why I tried to solve number problems in 2 variables because there are specific problems we're in. It's easier to represent them with 2 variables. Okay? As much as we want to represent all the conditions in just a single variable, it's not always practical. So it's always better to find what's comfortable with your solving or with your solution. So I'm going to note this as equation number 1 and equation number 2. And to simplify equation number 2, I have here F minus 5 equal to 7M minus 35. That means I can move all the unknowns on the left side and the constants at the right. Therefore, I'll have here F minus 7M equal to negative 35 plus 5. So, to simplify that, that's F minus 7M equal to negative 30. So, this is my equation 1 and this one is my equation 2. Solving simultaneously, I do this by substitution. By substitution, substitute F in F of equation 1, okay, to equation 2. So, since F is already equivalent to 4M, I will replace this F by 4M. Let me write the equation again. F minus 7M equals negative 30. I'll replace this with 4M from the statement in equation 1. Minus 7M equal to negative 30. Okay? That gives me negative 3M equal to negative 30. And that's M equal to 10. Okay? If we divide both sides by negative 3. If M is equivalent to 10, we can use the first equation to get the father's age, which is simply 4 times M, which is 10, and that gives us 40. Our unit here will be years old. Okay, this is years old. Okay, and let me just highlight that to emphasize. If you want, pwede naman pong simultaneously solving equations if you're familiar with that. So, kung ang solution natin is simultaneously solving the equation, let me write the equations first. So, all the equations must have the unknowns on the left side if you're going to do simultaneous solving. So, for equation 1, I need to transpose 4M to the left. So, the resulting equation would be F minus 4M. That's equal to 0. For equation number 2, I've already simplified that as F minus 7M equal to negative 30. By simultaneously solving, the target is to cancel. Okay? Or if I'm not correct, simultaneously solving is properly known as elimination method, okay? Elimination method. That means you're going to eliminate one of the variables. So you can eliminate either f or m. Basically, the ones we eliminate are the ones with the same numerical coefficient. Or in short, yung magkamukhang magkamukha. So in this case, f and f are similar on both the equations. So to be able to remove f, since they are both positive, you have to subtract the equation. So subtracting, you get f minus f, that's 0. That way, we eliminated f. Negative 4 minus minus, so that's positive. Negative 4 plus 7, that's positive 3m. Equal to 0, negative, negative, so that's positive. 0 plus 30, so that's positive 30. Dividing both sides by 3, you get m equal to 10. And again, the father's age should be equivalent to 40. This is how you do it with elimination method. What if the variables have different numerical coefficients? What if none of the variables have similar numerical coefficients? What are you going to do? So what you're going to do is, let's say for example, you want to eliminate m. Pagpaparehasan ngayon natin yung kanilang numerical coefficient. Paano natin gagawin yun? By multiplying them by a factor that will result to their least common multiple. So the least common multiple of 7 and 4 is actually 28. Diba? 7, 14, 21, 28, which is divisible by 4. So, I will multiply the whole equation by 7 just so I can make this one 28. Okay, so what would happen is I'll get 7f minus 28m equal to 7 times 0. Do not forget to distribute on all terms on both sides of the equation. That would be 0. For equation number 2, I have f minus 7m equal to negative 30. Just so I can produce 28 for m, I have to multiply the whole equation by 4 naman. Then, by distribution, this will be 4f minus 28m equal to negative 120. What I'm going to do is copy the equations I made. So I have 7f minus 28m equal to 0 and 4f minus 28m equal to negative 120. The next thing to do is, to be able to eliminate negative 28m, I will subtract the two equations because they have the same sign. If they had opposite signs, I'll add them to be able to cancel. So, by subtracting, I will get 3f for this. So, you get 3f. This will be cancelled. Equal to 0 minus minus. So, that's 0 plus 120. So, dividing both sides by 3, I will get f equal to 40, which is the father's age, which is similar to what we were able to solve. So, in that way, ganun pa din, you'll end up with m equal to 10 years old. So, definitely, this one's the solution. Okay? The default solution because parang wag na natin pahirapan sarili natin, diba, dito? I-multiply pa siya para mag-create. Kasi parehas naman na si f eh. Same numerical coefficient na siya. I just showed you this. Kung sakaling magkaroon kayo ng equations wherein wala dun sa mga variables have the same numerical coefficient, you know what to do. Okay? But definitely, in this type of problem, substitution is the easier solution. So, let's move on to the next problem. The next problem number 2 says, Abigail is 6 years older than Jonathan. Okay? 6 years ago, she was twice as old as him. How old are they now? So, what I'm going to do is write my table first. So, I have Abigail and Jonathan. Actually, kapag sanay na kayo, there's no need for you to do the table anymore. As long as marunong na kayo. Okay? So, the conditions or the time setting given was past. Ang mga binigay na time setting ay past and present. So, for the present, we will be using A for Abigail and J for Jonathan. The time setting was 6 years ago. So, yung 6 years ago age ni Abigail is A minus 6 and Jonathan is J minus 6. According to the problem, Abigail daw is 6 years older than Jonathan. This is something in the present because of the present tense of the verb. Therefore, I'm going to use these representations. So, you have A, Abigail is, that's an equal sign, 6 years older than Jan. That means 6 years more than Jonathan's age pala, Jonathan. kay Jonathan. 6 years ago, which means I'll be using this one naman as my representations of Abigail and Jonathan's age. So, 6 years ago, she, that refers to Abigail. So, Abigail daw, that's A minus 6. She was is a representation, is represented by an equal sign. She was twice as old as him. That means 2 times ni Jonathan's age. 2 times si Jonathan's age at that time. Okay? So, same thing that I'll do with the previous problem that we did. Okay, I will be arranging or simplifying the equations first. So, let me have the first equation and the second equation. My first equation would be A equal to J plus 6. And my second equation would be A minus 6 equal to 2J minus 12 by distribution. So, I have A minus 2J equals negative 6 na. Right? So, that's A minus 2J. That's negative 12 plus 6. You get negative 6 for that. So, my equations will be A equal to J plus 6, A minus 2J equal to negative 6. What I'm going to do is substitute 1 to equation 2. So, I will replace, since A daw is equal to J plus 6, I will replace this by J plus 6 according to statement or equation 1. Copying equation 2, I will replace A by J plus 6. So, J plus 6 minus 2J equals negative 6. Simplifying, we get, this is J minus 2J. So, I have negative J equal to, I have 6 transposed to the right, that's negative. So, negative 6 minus 6, that's negative 12. Therefore, J is equivalent to 12 years old at present. Okay? To get Abigail's age, that would be A equal to J plus 6. So, that would be A equal to 12 plus 6. Therefore, Abigail's age is 18 years old. Let me write here years old. Do not forget to write your units. Okay, so let me highlight this to know that this is our answer. Okay, so I won't do simultaneously solving the equation na. It's up to you if you want to explore that solution. Okay, so I mean the elimination method pala. Hindi ko na siya gagawin. Kaya na lang ang bahalang mag-explore sa kanya. Okay, number 3. Wolfgang's father is 26 years older than Wolfgang. In 10 years, the sum of their ages will be 80. What are their present ages? Let me write the person's names. Wolfgang and father. The tenses given are present and future. So at present, I'll represent Wolfgang with W, the father with F. In the future, the time reference is in 10 years. So that means an additional of 10 in their present ages. Okay, going back to the statement, Wolfgang's father, so that's F, is, that means present, kaya I use F, I'm using this too, is 26 years older than Wolfgang. So that's 26 more than the age of Wolfgang. Second statement says, in 10 years, the sum of their ages. So ito daw, ito yung ages nila in 10 years. So ang sum daw niyan, that's W plus 10, tsaka F plus 10, their sum, will be 80. So, will represents equal sign. Will be 80. Simplifying, we have equation 1 as... Sige, let me use elimination method this time. So, what I'm going to do is move all the unknowns on the left side. So, I'll get F minus W equal to 26. And then, for the second equation, that would be that would be W plus F, and then I'll be moving all this 2 to the right. So I'll get that as 80 minus 20, that's 60. To eliminate, to eliminate, since both W and F have the same numerical coefficients, let me just change the equation 2 into F plus W equal to 60. I just moved or change their position just so it's similar to the first ones. It's easier for you to understand. So let me just remove this. Let me remove this and put this here. Okay. So, you can eliminate either of the two. If I eliminate F, I will subtract the equations. If I eliminate W, I have to add the equations. because they have different signs. So anyway, I will remove f na lang. So I'll subtract the equations, and this will result in negative w minus w, that's negative 2w, equal to 26 minus negative 60, that's negative 34, I think. Okay? Dividing both sides by negative 2, you get w, Wolfgang's age, as positive 17. Okay, let me highlight that. To get the father's age, you can use either of the equations, diba? So if I'm solving it, I'll solve using first equation f minus w equal to 26, or if you want, just use this one. That's the same equation. That's f equal to 26 plus w. Diba? If you transpose, yun din naman ang lalabas. So that's 26 plus w's age, which is 17. You'll get the father's age, which is equivalent to 43 years old. Okay? The solution I used here is the elimination method. The solution I used in the second problem, that's substitution method. Okay? Let's go to the last example for age problem. Number 4. Mary is twice as old as Helen, so we have present. If 8 is subtracted from Helen's age and 4 is added to Mary's age, Mary will be 4 times as old as Helen. Find their ages. So if I'm going to represent the person's names, I have Mary and Helen. So the present representation would be M and H. Unfortunately, this problem is not able to justify to us if you either have a present or a future tense for the second statement, because you will be subtracting a value from Helen's age, that means past, and you'll be adding to Mary's age, that means future, but the tense of the verb is will, so let's just say that it is the future, or there's a specific time frame they're using, okay? So, we're going to deduct 8 from Helen's age in this specific time frame, so that's H minus 8. And we're going to add 4 to Mary's age, so that's M plus 4. In this particular time setting, Mary daw, so which is M plus 4, will be, that's an equal sign, 4 times as old as Helen. So that's H minus 8. Okay? Going back to the first sentence, because I was not able to translate that, Mary is twice as old as Helen. That means at present time, Mary is twice as old as Helen. So what I'm going to do is simplify the equations first. So for equation 1, okay, that would be M plus 4 equal to 4H minus 32. So what I'm going to do now is to substitute, okay, since you already have equation 2 being a relationship of M equivalent to 2H. So I'll just substitute this on all M's on equation 1. So that would be M, which is 2H plus 4 equal to 4H minus 32. In that way, I can transpose this to the right and then the constant to the left. So I'll get there 32 plus 4 equal to 4H minus 2H. Therefore, you have here 2H, switching the two sides of the equation. So I'm just flipping it. So you have 2H equal to 36. And dividing both sides by 2, we get Helen's age to be equivalent to 18 years old. Okay, so upon getting an answer for Helen's age, we can now solve for Mary's age, which happens to be twice of Helen's age. So if I'm going to write that, Mary is simply twice of Helen's age, which is 18. Therefore, Mary is simply 36 years old. And those are the answers for the fourth illustration on age problem. And this is how you're going to use the table, the different representations of their ages in different time settings in solving for age problems.